I told you that I would show you the phone holder that Barbara Pickering's daughter, is it Wanda? Anyway, she sent me this phone holder, and what you have to have two hands, but you put this is Trisha's phone. You put it in there like that, and it works. The reason I can't do them well, there you go, is that my hands are not as strong as they should be. But you see that it works, and it's got a USB, is that what you call it? That makes the camera sort of follow what you're doing, and that's cool. Also, I wanted to tell you all that I have tried eyeliners for 20 years, at least maybe 50 years. I have never found one that really, really works for me except this one. Did Ann Lippard told us about this. This little thing, of course, has to go on the end, and you have to very carefully raise it because it is so soft. The reason it works so well is it is soft. It will handle the moisture that's in your eye waterline and above your eye. You have a little, when you put moisturizer on deliberately, you got moisture. And most eyeliners are like a pencil, and they really do not dissolve into that and make a line. I struggle with them. This is the only one I've ever had that I am pleased with. And it's Neutrogena, and you get it at Walgreens. And even this one, that crayon, or the black part that what does the line, will break or fall out. I literally have one in a box that I'm going to take back to Walgreens and tell them, this, I didn't get to use this. This thing didn't work. And Walgreens is very good about accepting things back if you have the packaging and the receipt. And I would advise anybody with makeup to do that, because people go in stores and steal makeup. They literally will take it out of the package and take it home, put it in their purse. But this is Neutrogena. I didn't even remember that Neutrogena was a makeup line, but it is. And my eyes water, and I think other people's do too. And I just, I am not a makeup person, but I use it a lot because somebody asked me the other day, which made me feel very good, how I managed to not have a lot of wrinkles at 94. And I said, well, I think it's because when I was young and traveling all the time, I wore makeup every day of my life. And in those days, I wore Merle Norman, and it had a built-in SPF sunscreen. And a lot of people don't wear makeup, but they wear sunscreen, and they should. Any girl or boy that's in the sun a lot should wear sunscreen, because sun damage will create carcinomas. I've had several removed from my leg, and 2 of them I had removed. I had to be under, I had to be put under anesthesia in the hospital because they were so deep. And that's because I lived in Florida and, wore shorts and bathing suits, and my legs were exposed to the sun a lot. And your skin is fragile, so you need to wear it. I would suggest you wear makeup, even if you don't want to, out in the sun. Either wear makeup with SFP or just sunscreen. Do something. Or a hat, sunglasses, all those things. And all things get damaged. And my friend Tricia, who is working the camera today, has a home in Athens, Georgia, and in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And that because she and her husband are retired and they want to be near their grandchildren. And their children did not have children until they were, they didn't get married until they were 40. So their children are still little children. So they babysit a lot, go pick them up at school and daycare and that sort of thing. And she has planted tomatoes in Rock Hill, but she lives part of the time in Athens. So her neighbor in Rock Hill waters the tomatoes. So when she goes, sometimes there are no tomatoes, partly because the squirrels eat them and partly because the neighbor picks them to keep the squirrels from eating them. But yesterday, Tricia had two friends who came, and we had the biggest time getting to know one another, and we ate at Soulfish, and then we went to Goodwill, and after we got home, we had been out a long time. We both got hungry about 4 o'clock. That's tea time in London, but it's our kind of time when we get a little hungry. So we decided to have our favorite salad, which is cucumbers, onions, and tomatoes. And she uses Hellman's mayonnaise in hers, and I use vinegar and oil and a teaspoon of real sugar in mine. So we had a tomato from Rock Hill, South Carolina, that she brought, a big beefsteak tomato. Beautiful, but it had a damaged place in it. So we literally cut out the damaged spot and cut the rest of it up in smaller pieces and had that salad, and it was wonderful. We like that salad as a snack just because it's filling and it is delicious. So I urge you to try that. The baby cucumbers are best, and they don't have to be peeled. You can just cut them up. And we like either red or white onion in it. Doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be a great big beefsteak tomato. It can be those little grape tomatoes. Anyway, that's my makeup and my cooking for the day. And now I want to quote my first husband, Ed Stoneacre, was charismatic and beautifully groomed all the time, sometimes took showers and changed clothes twice a day. He was always well coiffed, and he was a meticulous dresser, and he was a very good preacher and singer and played piano well, and had won a scholarship to the Pasadena Playhouse in California when he was younger, and his mother would not let him go to Pasadena Playhouse. He should have gone. He would have been a much better actor than he turned out to be as a minister. But he was a great preacher. And one of the sermons that he did, I thought was so cool. He had a black handkerchief. Not many people possess black handkerchiefs, but he had a white linen suit, which he would wear on Easter, and a black handkerchief he would put in the pocket, and black and white shoes. So he was cool. But one night, he took the black handkerchief and the white handkerchief to the altar and put them on the pulpit. And during his sermon, he held up the black handkerchief and he said, "There are lots of black marks on this black handkerchief, but you can't see them because the handkerchief is black too. And if you are doing a lot of sinning, if your life is full of sin, maybe you don't even see it as sin, but it's sin, and God sees it." And then he held up the white handkerchief, which had one little black spot. And he said, "You see this little black spot on here, on this white handkerchief? The reason you see it so well is that the handkerchief is white." And that is true with Christians. If a Christian sins, it is so obvious. It is so visible to the world, because we are supposed to be clean and white and pure, and we don't want to put any black marks on our white image. And Tricia and I have been reading in Revelations the last 2 days, and when they're speaking to the 7 churches, in Jesus' words, he actually says, in modern day English, he says, if you're not doing the work, I'm going to punish you. You are expected as a Christian to live like one and do good works. We are not saved by our works, but we're saved to do good works. And if we don't do them, God is going to punish us. It says in Revelation to those churches. That's what it says. And, it is so easy for us to think that we can get away with things. Because we do. We do something wrong. I'm very, very bad about seatbelts. I am. I don't like them. They kind of hurt. And I don't like them. And once in a while, I just hook the seatbelt and then get in the car. That's a sin. Because the law says I'm supposed to wear a seatbelt. Now that's a minor distraction. That's a minor sin. I'm not going to go into my biggie sins. I'm only going to go into my small sins. But if we don't mind God's rules, if we don't follow the 10 Commandments, which were given to us to follow, to have rules to go by. If we don't go by the rules and our white handkerchief has black spots on it, then we're not being the kind of Christian we need to be. And I pray that you will do what I'm trying to do at my old age. I'm trying to get it right. I'm trying to go back and answer the questions correctly. I'm going to try to go back and erase my mistakes. I'm going to go try to repent of all my sins and get myself straight before the Lord so that my white handkerchief is white all over. God bless you today.